So another story time.
This is why I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too.
Get ready with me while I tell you how my ex cheated on me.
Did you know that online dating apps were common before the pandemic, but forced isolation made them boom? It was reported that Tinder, the most downloaded app, hit 3 billion swipes in a day in March 2020. And so it broke that record more than 100 times since then. Tell me you have an online dating app without telling me you have an online dating app. Anyway, my problem is not Tinder, my problem is not Bumble, my problem is not whatever dating app you have on your phone. My issue is the dark side that comes with it: the harassment, the abuse, the violence, the explicit messages that you receive on your phones during the dating time. Yeah, that is where my problem comes in. I get it that sometimes we want to have fun, sometimes we want to be entertained. Aside from really wanting to look for a life partner, we want to just have that fun bit of our lives. But some of the victims in these dating apps never come out successful. The story that you're about to hear is of a lady that was almost kidnapped.
This is why I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too. This happened a few years ago, and I honestly consider myself so incredibly lucky to be alive after experiencing this. I was living in New York City at the time, and I matched with a guy. For the entire time we were talking, he was really aggressively trying to get me to go out with him. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy take me out on a date. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Maybe he's not being desperate. Maybe he's just putting in an effort. So the day of the date rolls around and he tells me that he wants to take me out to a restaurant that is a bit of a hidden gem and is a little bit outside of the city in an area of Westchester called Yonkers. And even though he offered to drive me, I was like, no, it's all good. I actually had my own car in New York City, so I agreed to meet up with him. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot because I didn't even Google this place before I went. So on the night of the date, I'm driving to this place. I put it into my GPS, and it's really weird because as soon as I see it in the GPS, it says that the place is closed. So I text my date and I'm like, hey, I just put this place into the GPS and it is telling me that it is actually closed. To which he replies, oh no, don't worry. They're really bad at updating their hours. This is the part where I should have just been like, oh hell no, and I should have canceled the date. But somehow I decided it would be a good idea to get in my car and drive 40 minutes to Yonkers for a date with a guy. So after 40 minutes of driving in traffic, I arrive at this place in Yonkers. I pull up to the building and I quickly realize that there is nobody in the parking lot, and that indeed this business is really closed. Not to mention, my car is the only car in the parking lot. So I start to panic, and as I look behind me to put my car in reverse, I notice another car pull up. This car pulls up right beside me. I don't even look at the person sitting in the car. I just simply back up out of that parking lot as fast as I can, and I get the heck out of there. The entire way home, I am just looking in my rear view mirror to see if there's anyone behind me, and thankfully there was not. And the craziest part of all of this is when I got home, I went back onto that dating app and I could see that the profile had unmatched with me. I never got a chance to screenshot that profile. I never learned the guy's last name, but I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this happening to girls on dating apps. It's not worth it. Just delete it for your own safety. And if you are going to be on dating apps, please always make sure to get the person's last name and to meet in a place that you are familiar with.
Let's deal with the numbers. 13% of all the dating apps put together, all of them put them together, 13% of the population involved in those dating apps come out successful. It means that if 100 people have gone out searching for love, only 13% are going to be successful. So if 1,000 people go out searching for love, it only means that 100 and approximately 130 something are going to be successful. If we come to Tinder, which is, like I told you in the beginning, that the most downloaded app, if we come to Tinder, it's reported that 65% end up getting their life partners, which is a good thing. I think 65% weighs heavily. But let's come back to an individual basis. Assuming that you're among the 65%, statistics show that you have a 21% chance of getting a partner. And in that 21%, it means that you must have matched or had a conversation with at least 33 people. men or women, depending on who you're looking for. So you don't have luck with the first person, not with the second person, not with the third person, but more than 20 people to get the right person, the right person. I don't think I can have patience for God knows that long. If you don't have any dating app on your phone, please don't download, don't bother. If you've been hearing people telling you delete that dating app, delete it. People have stories that they're keeping to themselves. They're not going to tell you the entire truth, but they're telling you delete that app. Long distance relationships. Most distance relationships fall under these two categories. I said most, I did not say all. Number one, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Number two, distance makes the heart go wander. And if I may tell you, most of the long distance relationships have a lot of issues. There are going to be communication struggles. When I say communication struggles, I mean sometimes there's misunderstandings that will come out of reading someone's text and you don't understand. Has he lost taste in me? Why the short form messages nowadays? Why does he always have to send me a single sentence after 3 days? What is going on? That is the kind of communication struggles we are going to be having with long distance relationships. It doesn't end there. Someone is in another country, you don't know what they're doing at what time. The time when you're free, they are not free. The time when they are free, you're not free. So because of the different time zones or the different time schedules, you're going to find yourselves never or not in the same page at all. Long distance relationships come with insecurities. You're going to be wondering, now that this person is the other side, what if he gets another person? What if I am not the only person? And trust me, if the heart has not grown fonder and as I wondering, there are things that you're going to start noticing about your partner.
Get ready with me while I tell you how my ex cheated on me. Oh, God. Here with Prime Video to celebrate the launch of Wilderness, and it's about cheating. I thought it tied in perfectly with how my ex cheated on me. Never told this story before, so we were in a long distance relationship. He came to visit me from Paris to London. I thought it would be a really good idea to greet him with a literal plaque, basically standing like an idiot at King's Cross Station. He comes out the Eurostar, it's all cute and romantic. Go back to my family home, bear in mind, and we have a nice evening together. The next morning comes and he wakes up really early and he was like, babe, I need to go meet up with some friends. And I said to him, you don't have any friends in London. He goes on to say, oh no, I made some friends in Paris and they want to see me. And I was like, a bit weird, but okay, go see your friends. So I get on with my day and it gets to 6 p.m. and I'm like, are you gonna come home? He was like, oh, I'm running a bit late. Finally gets home at like 7 p.m. Me being delusional again, I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But then we go to bed. And I swear to God, in the 2 years of us being together, I had never even thought about going through his phone. But my gut was screaming at me. So he goes to sleep. And for about 20 minutes, I'm praying that I would not find anything because I was so in love with this man. I go to his side of the bed and I go to WhatsApp. Not even a girl's name, a nickname. My Sexy Tourist. My heart fell through my chest. Texts on texts. My heart broke in that moment, I'm not gonna lie. He had obviously met this girl in Paris and had been seeing her. He was like, Kiara, I can't help, I met someone else. It's the first thing he said to me. At this point, I nearly called the police on him. He obviously then apologized and was like, no, I love you so much. I was like, get out of my house. It was the worst night of my entire life. Anyway, yeah, so I can tell you this now because I'm over it. But yeah, that was a whirlwind. Because Wilderness is about cheating, it was like, I need to tell my story now.
Statistically, they say that 60% of long distance relationships end up surviving. So it's a good thing, meaning that 40 end up breaking up. Imagine you're under the 40%.
So another story time. My mom got married in 2008 to this man. They got tested for STDs. They had the church wedding, everything. Then they moved away. I stayed here with my grandparents. My mom gets pregnant. She finds out she's pregnant with twins at her first ultrasound. They call her back in, and at first she thought, oh, it's because I have diabetes. Like, this is normal. They did the same thing when she was pregnant with me. They said, no, ma'am, you have HIV. She was absolutely distraught because what do you mean I have HIV? I've been married to the same man. We got tested. I don't understand. Believe it or not, when they went to go get tested for the STD, they stood in front of each other with the doctor, and he said, I don't have any STDs. And she said, I don't have any STDs. The doctor knew that the guy that she was going to marry was lying, but the doctor couldn't say anything because of the HIPAA Law Privacy Act. So he knowingly affected her, and he actually went to jail for it. Aside from that story, he also slept with his boss. This boss found out that she had HIV. Oh, by the way, he normally infected over 200 men and women. But out of those 200 men and women, his boss was one of those people. She found out that she had it, and she was so distraught, she stayed in the house for like 4 or 5 days. She didn't talk to anybody, even her boyfriend. Her boyfriend ended up catching it, and he was trying to reach her, but she couldn't talk to anyone. She was so distraught. And so on Mother's Day, she's walking out of her garage, and he ends up shooting her dead. And no one, like, no one knew exactly why until years later. It's insane. And her death was a result of him knowingly infecting her. There's so many more stories that are connected to it. It's absolutely insane. If you want to look it up, you can. But yeah, I thought I'd come on here and share. It's a little more heavier than my last story time, but yeah. I keep forgetting details, but also, you know how I told you my mom was pregnant? She was pregnant with twins, and she had them at 4 months old due to all of the stress endured because of this situation. So my brother was born with cerebral palsy, and my sister just has autism. But they both endured tons of surgery, and they were not supposed to live. Born at 4 months, they were not supposed to live, but they did, thankfully enough.
I wonder why doctors are not protective enough. It is sad that most of us end up in marriages and discover that I never knew this person at all. I wish I had dated more. I wish I had known this person more. I just wish I took a different path. When couples are getting married, I have this idea in mind that the church is going to send them with a witness to go and test their blood, geno checkup, their statuses, their genotype, everything. In my honest opinion, I thought that it's very okay to share one another's results to the couple because they're getting married. And if you know that you're a culprit in the relationship, why are you hiding something? Why not tell the person the truth and make them make a proper decision whether or not they want to continue with you? Imagine being so heartless to the point that you don't care the outcome that may affect your children. I would rather tell someone the truth and they get to know my status or where I stand than hurting them or even our children in the future. I would rather tell them the truth and let them go if they've decided to move on. Whether you're in your searching stage, dating stage, or marriage stage, always be truthful to yourself and to your partner or to your partner to be. Always choose the side of truth.